Hey friend, welcome back to the 1010 Book Club channel. My name is Billy Chan. If you are stuck in your career and you wanted to find the right path that you will pursue for the rest of your life, you do not know why yet and you felt confused, this is the right topic for you. Let's hear from Christie how you can learn from her experience in navigating different career and get to know like a proven model and questions that you can ask yourself today so that you can clarify your mind. Let's check it out.
And Christie is very passionate learner and also an author. She is the author for 2 books, Actualize Your Dream, From Wishful Thinking to Reality. And her second book is Made in Singapore, Businesses Breaking Boundaries Through Asia. Yeah. And Christie is now the Director of Capability and Organization Optimization at Gecko Asia. She is passionate in bridging gaps and building futures. One interesting fact about Christie is that she loves this game called 4 color cards. In Chinese, it's called Setbacks, which is a game of the Rami family or families of games with its relatively long history in southern China. In Vietnam, it is equivalent to the game of Tu Sec, if I pronounce it correctly. So this is how Christie uses her time to bond with family and friends through the game. Right. Without further ado, I will pass to Christie to share about agility learning for today. Christie, the floor is yours.
Great. Billy requested me to come and talk about learning agility. This topic is near and dear to my heart. Myself, as a planner, I've always planned ahead, and my first role at Intel as a planner as well, that even elevate my planning further. So this is a great topic to chat about. And also, with all the change going on in our industry, it's also a great time to kind of pause and think about learning agility. How can we use this in our daily work and life as well? So welcome, everyone. I understand we got team from Penang, Kulim, Taiwan, perhaps China, India, so on and so forth. So welcome. Right, let me just kick it off with something fun, right? So please use the chat for this. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening? Yep, it's human. It's us, right? So we had this inbuilt flexibility, us crawling when we were a baby. Once we learned how to walk, we were on 2 feet. And in golden days, and hopefully we don't have to use the cane for this, right? So what I want us to get out of the session is how can we maximize in the afternoon, right? With maximize our life, right? This is probably one of very unique presentation I've ever done. It talks mostly about me. So I'll skip one. Billy done a great job on that already as well. I'll touch on the personal journey, which I call my first mountain, my first dream, basically. And once I got there, or any one of us got to a goal, the next thing is to still continue to engage and elevate so that we can move ourselves to the next level. And while we're doing our best work, working hard, focus on the goal, I think we need to also be mindful of the pace of change and see whether it's time to make a career pivot or make some change to what we're doing as well. Right. And then finally, I'll end with how do we develop learning agility? This is one person story, but I hope you pick up 1 or 2 things from here and adapt it to work for your own case. Right. And Billy have shared, we have 30 minutes on questions. And as you can see, I put action. So I hope you get the answer, not just from myself, but the team here on a collective learning. And then we put that into action. And if I were to summarize my book in one line that I really love, it would be an action dreamer. It can, no point, just dream. It is very important to take actions so that we can make our dream come true. Okay, so the S-curve, I'm speaking with most of technology people here today, so you for sure have seen the S-curve. It starts out slowly at the bottom, right? And you'll basically accelerate to peak and eventually it will decline. This pattern apply not just a product, it could be a project, it could be a company, and it's also very powerful as our own career curve, right? Let me show you my career curve. So I sort of summarize, I'm on my second career here. I'm summarizing it in two curves, but definitely in these two larger curves, there's smaller one. So I started with Intel 96 and left Intel in 2015, so almost 20 years, and have been very lucky to have rotated across 4 departments, 8 different functional roles. And eventually, I have decided I have adequate experience to move on to a career coaching role, which is my second dream. And during my transition, I used the time to write a book and also to get coaching certificate, and then move on to be a coach at Injust, where I was helping people to return to the workforce. So as you can see here, I spent more time upskilling during transition, right? So that I can then move on successfully to my second career. So this is where I have this icon this is where I am in my my career goal. And Billy have shared, I'm currently with Asia. So my role here is to build capability for our internal team and also our client as well. Right, so let me take you back to the starting point. My family and I migrated to the US as immigrants. We started from zero again. So many Asian family or immigrant family there, they would love for their kid to be a doctor, a lawyer. If you cannot do one of those, you're basically a failure. And I got my finger cut when I was really young, very deep, and I'm afraid blood. So there's no way I'm going to be a doctor. Lawyer is not the option. But what I have noticed in my first year in the US, I wanted to return to Asia to help out, because I believe that I have the values of Asians and the education in the US, and together that will probably give me a competitive advantage, right? Because I see that Asian country gonna start to develop and grow, and my experience may be helpful. But either way, I will still have good content to write a book. If I fail, it would be an epic failure, and it's great content for the book. And if I get to do what I want to do, then I think it's a great story to share as well, right? So now, as a career coach, I help people move out the comfort zone confidently through the fear zone into the learning zone and then the growth zone. I can help people too. I don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer. So in the end, I think I still meet my mom objective of me being someone to help people. And I would say this role is very powerful. I don't have to wait for somebody to be sick or in trouble to help them. So I can be proactive about a career discussion with someone. Okay, so let's first thing first talk about how can someone discover their edge, right? This chart I adopt from Dr. Norman, and I basically revise it in a way, kind of update the situations a little bit. I've added the values, what the economy is willing to pay for the work that you do. So first is passion. What do you do that you really love it and forget time, right? Or willing even to do for free. And then second is your expertise. What are your strengths? But sometimes you may be good at something, but you don't like the work, right? And then if you were to now triangulate it with what the economy is willing to pay for you, this would be your sweet spot. This is the unfair advantage, right? And if you were to play in this overlapping circle, you'd be really great at it, because no one see the world the way you do. Okay. Now let me just prove to you why no one else see the world the way you do. All right, so let's do another guessing game. What is the chance of you being born? All right, so Billy, I need your help again to see what are the team guessing on
what you say
this
that
here.
like probability that you'll get born, right? Am I right? So give a wild guess, right? Yeah,
Yes,
just give a
or
wild
being
guess.
born to your mom and dad at the time that you were born.
Yeah. calling all the engineers to give your best guess. No one seems to be right anything yet. Let me see.
Oh, come on. Is it one in a million?
Mukesh
One in
says
something.
1 in a million. Second also echo. Xiang Ling. 1 in a million. What else? 1 in a trillion. Okay. 1 in 7 billion, Wallace. 1 in
Okay.
a billion.
Right. Very good
Okay,
guess.
now we have the max is a trillion. The median is a B. In a 7B to 1B. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Let's review the answer. It's 1 in 400 trillions. As Dr. Ali Banazar from Harvard University have suggested in his research. So as you can see, you are a miracle. The chance of your mom meeting your dad and other factors and having you, right? So I really want to encourage you to be the best version of yourself because no one sees the world the way you do. So hopefully you'll be more courageous, less hesitate. This is what all learning agility really means, is to learn something, connect the dots and try it, and then build on that, right? So one thing I've learned over the year is to fail fast than to get to that next successful step, building on what we have learned so far. So please be bold, take your idea forward, actualize your dreams. Right, let me share a bit about my career dream. Right, so I decided to major international business because I want to be that bridge between the East and the West. So I applied for this very small private school in San Francisco, Golden Gate University. Back then in the early 90s, there's not a lot of international business yet. And I'm actually have a lot of challenges getting my family supporting this career choice because not many company has an international department. So if I get out with this degree, I may not be able to find a job. Anyway, I felt really strongly about this, so I went ahead with it. I applied to get into the school. I got interview, and part of the plan I had in high school, I want to get a full tuition scholarship because my family were not able to afford private tuition at this college. Okay, so very lucky I got in. Now, I was too young to drive. I was living in Sacramento, so driving to San Francisco is about 2 hours or so. Too young to drive so far. So I carpool with people who live in Sacramento but work in San Francisco. That means I had to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, drive to this carpool place, get on a van, and go down to San Francisco with everyone, and then return in the evening. And after a while, it was really hard. So I decided to look for a job. My friend Lee introduced me to a manager in a computer lab. I applied for it and I got in. So I was able now to pay for my living expenses. And I was studying really hard year round, including summer. So I was able to graduate in 3 years. And I was very lucky. I met a career advisor. Her name is Donna. She was the one who helped me get a job 3 months before I graduate. So my last semester, I was working full time. I was studying full time. But when she announced to me that I got a job, I was so impressed. I was like, wow, this lady role is so phenomenal. She's making huge impact. I want to be like her one day when I have adequate experience. So this is where my second career dream was to follow her footsteps. Right. So I also want to share the timeline with you. So when my family was very hard at work trying to make ends meet, I had to plan everything out myself. And if I could not do it myself, I would reach out to a mentor or whomever can spare the time to help me. So as an immigrant, English is my second language. So I set a goal for myself. By the time I get into high school or freshman, I should be in mainstream English. And by the end of high school, I should be able to get a scholarship if I work hard, right? And while in college, I would get a part-time job. So by the time I graduated, it would be easier for me to find a job. And once I got a full-time job, I would be working part-time on my MBA degree. That's because eventually I want to go overseas, and I don't want to come back to the US to study, or to study while I'm on this adventure overseas, because I think I'm going to be learning a lot too. So this is what I have set out for myself. Now, how do I know that it really worked, right? Because I'm still here in Singapore, 24 years now. Intel relocate me here in 2000. So I'm still loving it here. I have no plan to move anywhere else. And as a coach, I think it's also important to reflect. So during 2020, when we have a lot of time at home during COVID, I had an idea. I had an outline. Someone else helped me to put this together. But at that time, 2020, I've been living in Singapore for 20 years. So this is what 20 stand for. I was then 2 years in career coaching. So I call that high touch. My experience at Intel, I call it high tech. And then the zero represents zero tech out during COVID. So was very concerned getting COVID. So was doing a lot of cooking at home as well. So I hope you, if you haven't reflect on your journey so far, I hope you sit down and just draw it out, or do whatever way you like it. It really helps. The part with learning agility. What have we learned? How can we apply that moving forward? Okay, I love quotes. So I want to summarize this first session for you. It's all about inspirations and motivation in accomplish dreams, right? Inspiration, basically, I identify my unfair advantage, being that bridge between the East and the West. I chart down my path. You saw the plan just now. And commitment, take that first step to actualize your dream, right? And you got a lot of help. If you reach out, you get a lot of help, people to help you. So that's how I achieved the first career dream. Now, Billy also requests me to talk a bit about the insight I get from my Intel mentor. So here I build a T shape. The breadth of this T is basically my cross-functional experience. So California, US, where I was doing sales and marketing, and currently in Singapore, Asia Pacific, doing career coaching. And the body of the T is really my specialty, my specialization, sourcings and people development, right? So I was planning to get a role in Asia to rotate. And I want to test the water too. As the planner, I was also a bit scared. What if I don't like, so I want to move back? Then I want just to get on assignment. And I shared that with my manager in sales and marketing. And the good news was that the budget got approved. But the bad news is it kept moving from quarter to quarter, and I was quite frustrated. So I decided to meet an Intel mentor. We have plenty of resource, right? So in FOSUM, there's people sign up to be mentors. So I went to the profile and found a lady in divisional planning. So I went and shared with her what are my goals, what are my challenges, and she told me to transfer overseas, you need to work for a worldwide organization. And that did not, were not apparent to me, but it totally makes sense, right? If a worldwide organization such as IT, they send somebody overseas, that person gonna come back and be able to add value. But a sales and marketing organization, which is geography, they see less value of sending someone overseas and coming back, may not be able to apply a lot. So there's a lot of competing priorities too for the geography. So within a year, Intel relocated me to Singapore. That's amazing. Okay, now after reaching a goal, it's easy to stay in the celebration mode long, right? So we really need to continue to engage and elevate ourselves to the next level. So the next time you reach out someone for help, it's easier to get help because you have a track record. So here I want to share another framework with you. It's 3 things again: clarity in terms of your goal, and then competency in terms of your thought leadership, and then confident. You need a noise filter to help you to focus on your goal. Okay, so GROW is a coaching framework. G stands for goal. So what is your career goal? R, reality. Basically, that's the gap analysis between now and your goal. And an O, option. What are 2 or 3 options for you to close that gap? And then the W is what will you do and by when? Right? And I added this thing. If you're going to say yes to this, what are you going to say no to? Otherwise, you got too many balls up in the air and some of them might drop. So it's best to agree on the goal, prioritize it, and stay focused on those. Right? Competency, aim high to reach high. So you probably have heard this 10,000 hour rule by Malcolm Gladwell in his book, The Outlier. What he's saying is take 10,000 hours or 10 years to do something to get really good at it. And I really believe that, right? So for me, it has been people development, where I'm very passionate about, career planning. So the two come together because how do you develop people? Guide them, or if they have a goal already, all the better. How to help them to achieve that goal. And then finally, we need to take confident is take practice. There's no shortcuts. I wish there's a pill I can say, hey, take this pill and you'll be good, right? We have to take calculated risk. And, if you want to really be good at it, cover all your bases, reach out for support. Ask, I want to get from A to B. This is my plan. What am I missing? Right? So that will help you to navigate with confidence. And one thing I would say is don't give up too early. There's something that I like. It's called the messy middle. You may be so close at it, right? But if you're not giving it a little longer, you may not be able to see it to completion. So this is a great place to reach out and check with someone. Am I nearly there? Do I pivot and move on? Okay, so before packing my bags to move, Intel sent me to a cultural class. What a phenomenal class. And this is where I pick up this analogy that I still remember today. In this class, he said, the West is like a pitch. On the outside, it's very soft. It's very easy to do business with someone, but inside, the seat is very hard, only reserved for their small circle of friends or family. Whereas the coconut, the Asian culture, there's 3 layers to get through it. But once you get to the shell, the hard shell in the middle, well, once you pass that, the meat inside is very comfortable. And I said, wow. and really, I had a lot of challenge. And I put this icon, learning agility. I want to pick on a certain topic to share that with you as well. After moving to Singapore, I faced 2 challenges because all my managers were in the US and I was working on, I was part of an integration team for merger and acquisition. Things has to move really quickly and I don't get an answer or an update from my manager until the next day. And then at the same time, I had to work on passing these 3 layer. And I would say on average, it takes about 6 months to build a good relationship with someone in Asia. Right. And then currently, I also conduct this internal class for the team. This is about effective writing. So as you can see, the people from the Western world are very open and direct. So it's the writer responsible to write what he or she want to say. Whereas the Asian culture is the reader responsive culture. So they tend to use a lot of flowery word, roundabout, very implicit, and indirect. So the reader is supposed to find out what the writer want to share with them. And during this time, I was also having a lot of challenge. So here's another my mentor, Eric. He has a team in Asia for some time. Then I reached out to him to get some help with my challenges and was graciously sign up for that. And we met a few times, especially every time he comes to Singapore, we get to meet up. Okay, so here I want to show you my complete T-shaped skill. So first start out with supply chain, then I moved into distribution. My first role in IT was procurement, IT strategic procurement, right? And then I moved to Singapore, working on IT M&A, part of IT Flex Services. So this IT solutions. And then at this point, there was a lot of downsides in the sales and marketing. So if you were in IT, you would want to move to the sales and marketing role, or you move to a different site where there are IT role. So I still really love Singapore, so I decided to move to become a program manager in channel marketing. And then at that point in late 2015, I thought now I have enough, or I would say adequate experience to move on to this coaching role. So that's what I did, right? And here I'm learning how to scale a SME business. Okay, now let me move on to the next piece of the agenda. Is the pace of change, which can be scary, right? But I wanted you to do it scare, right? Because things are moving. If we don't do something, even if we're standing still, we're sliding backward. So it's important to identify the change where they are and where we are on our S curve, and decide whether we need to now jump on the next S curve or not before we're being forced to. All right, here is the pace of change. As you can see, from industry 1.0 to 4.0, it's about 50% faster. We're currently in 4.0. It started 2016, and it's expected to last 20 plus years. So we are more than halfway there already. Okay, so what does it really mean with all these changes? And, I was able to attend a course, which is 1 year long. I'll share a bit later. But I've seen a huge impact with digital transformation, which is, as every company become an IT company. Even during COVID, like the mom and pop shop or the hawker center in Singapore, they have to use tech to collect payment and so on and so forth as well. So I really believe that every company is now an IT company. You have to leverage tech to survive. But what is more important is how we work differently by leveraging tech. So, ChatGPT is huge, and we can definitely partner with ChatGPT to kind of outsource or offload some of the low-level work or some of the repetitive tasks that it can help us, so that we can free up our time to elevate, be more creative with our work. Okay, here I just want to show you more data. This is also Billy's suggestion. Many of my people are engineer, and we just love data. And I thought this is really great source. This is from titlemax.com. And as you can see here, the top 5 company has been tagged. And if you look at Coca-Cola, this is the only one that is on top 10, and this was built in 1886, while Facebook was as young as 20 years ago. Right? To me, this is quite scary. So it's all the more reinforced why we should, if companies are now tech company, and if they can really use tech to grow so fast, we ourselves should also leverage tech to move forward. Okay. So the course I mentioned to you earlier was, it's called ELT, Enterprise Leadership for Transformation. This is a course collaborative from Enterprise Singapore and NUS University, coached by the Linhart Group. There was a module, and this is basically like an MBA for small business leader and owners. And there's a course on transformations by Dr. Dennis Koo, and he also wrote a book, Driving Digital Transformation. It's a great book, highly recommended. And he has this framework of 4 pillars: customer, business, capability, and people leadership. And he mentioned most of the time, company focus a lot on customer and business because it's easier for them. That's where the money is, right? So what that means is it's kind of a shortage, right? Company driving capability in business really fast this way, but they didn't focus enough time to help the team to learn to build capability to catch up with the advancement in the customer space and business. And this is the great area. If you're not sure which focus area to focus on in your next role, perhaps spend some time looking at this. I don't know for sure maybe the right role for you. I'm just purely speaking from demand and supply. Right? So this is also my current role at Gecko. I'm focusing on building capability for our team and for our client, and training the next, I'm grooming the next group of managers for Gecko as well. Okay, now I want to kind of bring in what the industry experts are saying about skill. So this first chart on the left here is published in 2021 by Lincoln, but now I'm looking at this, I think it's still very, very good, very solid research. And on the right here is World Economic Forum. These are the skills that they said that we should have by 2027. So creativity is what Lincoln say, collaboration, adaptability, and I mapped it over here: creative thinking, resilient flexibility and agility, and motivation and self-awareness. So these are big organizations that spend a lot of time on looking at skill. So take some time to reflect on this as well. Okay, so here I also want to engage with the audience. When was the last time you upskill? Perhaps a week long or more?
Christy, I guess the upskill you refers to anything big or small. It can be some like now they're very famous. What they call the one that knitting or something like that. They're also skills, right?
Yes,
Big or small.
any kind of
Okay.
skill, any kind of engage, any kind of that you kind of pick. And I think a week long, if I reflect on the MTP course that I took, a week long away from your work, you've actually just focus on that one thing and build upskill on a new skill, adjacency skill that would help.
Please put your answer in the chat. So I will read out for Christy, since that she has no visibility on the chat.
That's kind of strange. Still loading, refreshing on the chat.
It's okay. Just don't mess around with it. Just at this moment, as long as 80% of the function works.
Yep, right.
All right. No answer yet? Yeah, there.
Okay, so I think the answer is, I'm sorry, the question I really want to ask for yourself, you don't have to share with us. Okay, so here I also want to share with you in 2018 I took the coaching certificate, right? And also in 2021 I felt that I was I'm not growing as fast as I used to be. So then I took this course called the Alt MBA. So like an alternate to an MBA by Seth Godin. It was a month long. And we have to deliver 13 projects in 30 days. And we was very lucky to be working with the Asia time zone in that group. But then this Alt MBA was a worldwide program. So then at time we also to get to work with the people from the geography. And then when we deliver a project, it was on this course. And then we got people from different geo to also comment on the prompt that we were delivering. So it's a huge benefit to be open my eyes and ears to what my peers in the other country within Asia, APAC, and also around the clubs are saying. So it was an amazing course, right? And this is the EOT program. So I put the learning agility here. So I'm sure if you work long enough, there are times that you're going to be out of alignment with your manager. And what a great way to align with manager if you get a chance to attend the same course with your manager, because you get to see how he and she react to the same topics real time with you. And I was fortunate to attend this ELT program with my manager, so a year long. And I remember when we first start, we used to debate a lot, which is great because I think we have complementary skills and we get to talk about these things. And we were away from work, so 3 days per month for the entire 6 months, and then we will then have topics that we will be working in a learning group after that. But the whole program was a year long, and what a great idea! And I'm very fortunate to have very supportive manager to be attending this course with him, and also 10% of my hour right now. I'm a billable consultant. It's a way for me to learn and grow and develop myself further outside of my current work today. So I'm very thankful to him supporting me. Okay, and I Billy also talk about this book. Since I had some experience with publishing a book, this cohort 5 at NUS was a great cohort to be with, and we decided that we're going to put our journey together in a book. So this book has about 25 different stories from 25 different SME business in Singapore. And then what I got really great values out of this ELT course was that we were coached by the Linhart Group. Their focus of coaching were on CEO, counselor, board advisor, executive mentor, and so on and so forth. So we get business coaching on top of the course, the module that was run by NUS professors. Hey, so we're coming up on the last session here. I want to piece everything together for you with my learning agility over the 25-year plus or so. Okay, so this is a slide on how I build learning agility over the years. First, I think we have to be intentional about our portfolio career. And as you can see here, when we first got out of college, we may not have a lot of skills, so perhaps we may be this bar down here, right? And over time, if you want to have a portfolio that could fit in many different roles, then you would want to be something like this plus sign. But the thing I want to share with you, this plus sign, is also about lateral movement, right? And at time it may appear like a step down, right? As you build your portfolio. And I've done that. And I'm looking back, I'm grateful for have all those opportunity to move lateral, to move what some people might term it's a step down. So I was running a team in IT, 25 plus people. And when I moved to an IT program manager role in RCO, I'm an individual contributor again, right? But wow, what a great time to learn the different skills. And whatever my experience earlier in IT, I was able to use most of that to connect the dots and to help this program in RCO to be better than it was. Okay. The second thing is to get feedback. If we are just sitting in a bubble, we only see what's in front of us. It's hard to see things from in the back or things on the side from us. So great to get feedback from mentor if you can get them, or otherwise peers would be great. Right. Third is to aim high to reach high. Because if our goal does not scare us, it's not a good goal. So I want you to reflect on how scary your goal is. And finally, hone your skill by practice, by writing, and by speaking. And this is exactly what I'm doing today, right? So if you've seen my LinkedIn, you've seen that I write on a weekly basis, and I get to speak at different places. I'm very thankful for those opportunities. And then repeat again, practice. So now I'm in second career, and I chose this kind of carousel to show my portfolio, right? So as you have seen from Intel, I was more of a generalist, then I moved into a specialist in IT, and then I moved over to a generalist again. Okay. And when I moved to coaching, I get to work with organizations that are in public sector. So move from private to public. And share earlier, I term Intel as high tech. And the work that I'm doing right now with coaching is high touch. So I encourage you to find sound bites, words, phrase that describe what you do, easy enough for people to remember you as what you bring to the table. That's where, when the next time somebody have an opportunity, you may be on top of the mind recall for them. And what I like about Gecko today is that I support a group of consultants from Fortune 500, and recently we got into the SME space as well. So I get to learn how to work with the challenge that these consultants have at the respective Fortune 500. So I get to collect these logo, the experience, without having to change the multiple jobs. Because every time you change, it could be you have to start from pretty close to zero all over again. So this is a great place for me to learn and grow in my second career. And after a challenging journey, we got some industry recognition. I mean, it was not a goal in the first place why we want to build an upskilling program. It's called Tech Talent Accelerator, but it shouldn't hurt to receive this recognition. And I think the one that we're very proud of to receive is the Skill Future Employer Award. And this is, you can see my manager, Ahu, receiving this from President Tharman of Singapore. So it's a great achievement, a recognition that we got, because the bulk of the people there were from very big MNCs such as DBS and IBM. They were in the same table with us. Okay, so let me summarize things up. So what is, if I say there's one secret that to my journey, I would say, is to stay focused on the circle of influence. And this is from Habit 1, Be Proactive, of Stephen Covey book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So if you focus on expanding the inner circle, it will get bigger, right? So where you live, what you work on, what you read, what to buy, things that within your control, versus the circle concern, what's going on outside that you have very little control on, then that would really help you to achieve your goal. Okay, and this is my S curve and the angels who helped me to get where I am today. So if you can see from Intel APAC to Inches, and I'm happy to share with you, I'm working on my third dream right now, is to become a career coach. And wow, I would say in my current role, I would say somewhere in the middle, right? And I'm planning ahead. As I shared with you in the ELT, I was coached by this Linhart group and got connect with them at a deeper level. So now I'm involved in a small project with them in Vietnam. And my manager is very supportive of this. This is maximum 10% of my time. So I get to coach at the executive level, right? And I build out my timeline here. My first dream came true in 2000, my second in 2018, and I'm reckon I'm gonna get here about 2036 with some small projects planning ahead, right? Because to be a business coach, you really have to learn how to scale a company, and this is what I'm doing today. And it's a great experience to be working with the Linhart Group. I'm very thankful for the opportunity that they've given me. Okay, so 3 tips to stay ahead would be: start simple, right? But think big picture. What is your long-term goal? What are your next S-curve or 2 S-curve away? And then make it a routine, right? Take small steps. And I love quotes. I want to leave you with this. If you want to go fast, then go by yourself, right? But if you want to go far, then go with a group of people, go together. And now I want to circle back to this riddle that I started earlier, and this curve is also page 14 of the book. Is as we get older, we have more money, but we have less energy. So what is the best time to optimize our afternoon, right? Where we have great energy, decent amount of money to travel, to experience what we like to have. And Billy suggested this. I thought it was a great idea. What are some of the what would you call this testimonial book review, right? What are the book review that resonate with me most? So I captured 3 here. I love this first one. Is short and to the point, so inspirational. The author has my heart. The ability to achieve great things and push yourself ahead comes alive in the book for this person. So if you're gonna get this book on Amazon, one favor I would like to ask is please leave your honest review, because it gets other people to find out more about the book. So with that, thank you for the time here, and we're open up for Q&A.
Sure. I think Christie, for those that listening, right, feel free to put your question in the Q&A chat, and while you are doing so, let me share with all of them that they wanted to check out Christie's book, right? So I put a link in the chat. It's easier for you to click one, and it is based on my own words. Is that it's not just it's a fiction book plus with non-fiction knowledge, then put away. And I felt it like it's very engaging to read through it and go through like your life story in your book as well. So encourage you to buy it. For those that is buying Kindle. It's cheaper with Kindle, like Mr. Asian like cheap things, right? So cheaper with Kindle. But the hardcover book, I think the soft cover book should be quite good enough. If a lot of people want to buy the soft cover book, we can buy it together so that we can save in shipping. Yeah. One question from Christie. How long did it take you to write the book?
Okay, great question. As I have this intention to write a book, right? At whether it's a failure or a success story, I've been collecting pictures, things at milestone level for me. So I had a folder where I put everything together. So all in all, it took me about 9 months to complete the book. Now I would say the last 3 months was very intense, because this is where I've engaged an editor to help, and also a little bit book marketing, though this is not my strength, and I really don't believe in marketing the book so much. I think if the book is good, it could market itself. So for me, it's 9 months and very intense in the last 3 months.
For my personal question, right, probably I because you have shared it to me earlier, would you share with us like your concept about, you mentioned about high touch and high tech? Will you elaborate a bit? How can you come to that term, and what that term means to you?
Yes. So actually, while coaching in my last role, where I was helping professionals to return to the workforce, and I was just helping this lady to help explain her portfolio. So she had a bit of technology background, and she has a bit of volunteer. So this is where I come up with, I think, high tech is there. It's easy it's a term out there already. I'm not sure about high touch, but interacting with people, and I sort of take this touch from a touch point from marketing. And since coaching is one-on-one, it's a lot of collaboration. So I just name it high touch. But it's a great point. Maybe I should go research that. So that's
So
how I came up with it. Yeah.
I guess what they will say, like as an engineer like I am, we probably very high tech, and for a manager, probably they are more high touch because they are dealing a lot with managing resources, making sure the employee happy, direction, things like that, more high touch.
Yes, it's those interaction is a touch point. So,
Mm,
and coaching, there's a lot of that. So
yeah.
it's, yeah.
I like the terminology when you say this, the high touch skills. I get there's a different skills in that.
Mhm.
One question for Muslim. What is the leverage that you have when making bold decision to quit Intel, and how is the challenge during the gap period before you have another stable income?
Mm, great question.
Mm.
So I'm lucky. If I have one talent, I would say it's to know myself, right? So this career, second career, is something I wanted to do um, way back when I was graduating from university, and I've been kind of planning that. And as you can see, I planned that through the T, right? Transition. So I believe to be a good coach, you have to have a diverse uh, experience. So know how to manage transition from one role to another. So that was my leverage. I did have a little bit of saving, and I've been working really hard since coming to the US, right? So working really hard over the last 30 plus year. So I gave myself a break. And at Intel we have, or in the US anyway, we have this sabbatical. But then I didn't get to enjoy my sabbatical because I moved to Asia, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna give some time to myself to take a break, and I wanted to write this book, and I want to do coaching. So I also have a goal, right? Though giving myself a break from a full-time job, but I'm still actually was working even more. Some days I was like start at 9 a.m. and end at 9 p.m. So it was not like fun all the time, but I did take a break. Um, so I guess besides the planning, the leverages that the internal self assurance that I'm on the right track and doing what I think would be helpful in my second career. Mm, Billy, what was the second part of the question?
How is the challenge during the gap period before you have another stable income?
Mm. So effectively, I didn't have a gap period, but let me just talk about how I got this career coaching role with our experience. So while taking this career coaching, I actively participate in the course, and someone in there saw how active I am, refer me to her manager. So I landed an internship role at Career Connects. So this like I'm becoming an intern. This movie, intern at 50. I was basically that intern, right? And after that, I we finished the coaching course, and I was talking to my manager. I'm interview here and there, and then I asked him, where else should I go interview for? And he said, upstairs on the seventh floor, it's a company called Inges, and it's kind of strange. He said, I don't remember how to spell it, but go look them up. So I went look them up. Lo and behold, I saw Linus, who's also a former colleague from Intel. I've never worked with Linus in Singapore, but I often talk to him in the pantry, right? And so I ping Linus and share with him that, hey, I've been doing this. I've got my coaching. I'm looking for a role. Let me know if you know somebody who have an open role. And lo and behold, he has an open role. So I had a quick phone call with him. Then he referred me to interview with his manager, since we know each other, right? So I had an interview. I had a call with his manager, and then it turned out the next time we met was 2-on-1, face to face with Linus and Ben. And so I basically moved from publishing the book during my coaching onto interning, and then onto getting a full-time role.
Mm. So that you have theoretically it gives you the impression that as long as you know what you want in your mind, and the pieces will come in together, right? There's no void that say, hey, I suddenly have a blank hole there, a gap there. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's another great question from Kai En. He said, thanks for sharing, Christy. Is there any reason that you choose Singapore as your entry point back to Asia versus
Yes.
other developing country in APEC, such as China or India?
Yeah, great question. So when we get ready to move, there was another technical manager, Gopal and our manager told us that two countries to think of is Hong Kong or Singapore. And she said that, hey, in Hong Kong, you have to learn Chinese. In Singapore, they speak English, so it may be better for you too. And I've not been to Singapore before that. I've heard a little bit of Singapore that is clean and safe. And so we both decided to move to Singapore. And it was actually challenging. Singapore was growing that time. We actually had to apply for a cubicle in Singapore with the regional manager at that point. Jason Chan, I believe, was his manager. Yeah, so it was just for ease of adaptability. But I've loved it here since. I have no plan to move out of Singapore.
Okay. Another great question from Hao. He said, he asked, after being away from Intel for 8 to 7 years, perhaps, is there anything that you miss or don't miss from Intel?
Oh, I think Intel DNA is in me. I'm showing up with a blue color, right? I have so much to be thankful for Intel. It's such an enriching career. I got a lot of help getting to where I am. What do I miss? Definitely the people, right? Both in Singapore, people in Penang. I traveled to India, China, Hong Kong, Japan. So Thailand as well, since we're sales and marketing. And I love the transparencies and the process that Intel has. The transition plan when somebody moved from one role to another. Intel University, I love that a lot. And an Intel mentors, right? You can go on the website and get those. So I still think it's a great company, and I'm glad I have started with Intel. And and so there might be I've got asked a lot of this question: do I start with a small company and into a big company, or vice versa? I would say for me, starting with Intel, a big company with a lot of structure and process, has helped me build my capability. Now I take that experience and do a smaller company and help that small company to grow. Um, so Hal, I'd love to meet up with you again. And we've been keeping in touch over the last 23 years that we've never worked with one another. But you know, a 1 week session can build a lifetime of friendship. That's what I appreciate about Intel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Thanks. Thank you. And then I'll move on to a question from Jik. This is the question. How long of period of time that you should be thinking about personal upskilling? Probably in your own opinion.
So the length of the upskilling course, or the length of the different smaller courses together?
Yeah,
Okay,
would you want to clarify?
yes. So he can clarify, but I'll ask just I'll answer this. I've always taken courses all the years. I one thing that I share earlier before the session start was that I signed up for this Intel University course to plan for your retirement, and I was the only young person in that class, right? So I think if you have your S curve, your goal, then you take these small steps to get to your S curve, and use that role plan, right? Your goal, your reality, your options, and your by when do you do what. And I think based on your gaps, it will decide the length, because how big of a gap do you want to jump, right? That will decide. But what I can also share with you is that I still upskill. I still listen to podcasts, listen to TED Talk every week, and it's either at least 5 hours a week to sometime like as many as 15 hours a week, depend on what I want to research on that week.
Hey, Christy, you clarified that it's about the length of course. And what I heard from you just now is that it really depends on the type of skills that you wanted to learn. And for me, who like to have shortcuts, I guess that the shorter it is better for me, because I don't believe that the long course is a good course, but effective course is the right course for you to take.
Right. Great point. So if you start out, then I would suggest you do take something smaller. Go for the low hanging fruit. Then you see how that adds to you. Then it will encourage you to take more. But definitely these days, I don't recommend an MBA for anyone anymore. So I recommend specialization. So something like it's like a certificate instead of a whole blown, even a bachelor. It may not be the right thing anymore. If it's going to take 4 years, a lot of things going to change, right? So people like us in a mid-career, I would go for specialization. So those special course, AI skill, for example. So be specific about what you want to upskill and how you're going to use it. Because if you're just signing up because everybody's signing up, you have no plan how to use it, then it might potentially not good use of your time.
Yeah. Christy, could we just take 2 more questions and then
Sure.
we wrap it up? And
Sure.
for those that want to have your question asked, please ask that in the chat, because I guess if you have the question, someone here will have the question as well in their mind. Okay. Question from Sok Ling. How many coach and mentor you have to hop into second career? Who and what influence you the most? I guess the question is how many career that you have that help you to propel into your second career, and who actually influence you the most?
Okay. So I think my career advisor back in college influenced me the most of why this second career may be fulfilling for me. And it turned out to be very fulfilling for me. And how many coach and mentor I have? So I think definitely the trainer that that have conduct the coaching's certificate for me is definitely a person influence. The second person is the person who gave me a chance to be an intern, right? And I still kept in touch with her. I update her on where I am. And then Linus, who been very supportive, still keeping in touch with Linus. And as a matter of fact, I've come back to Ingest to share my experience with the team as well. So how many? I think it depends on the kind of support you need, but I definitely recommend at least 2, and perhaps 2 mentor or coach. It should be they're good at with one thing on this end of the spectrum, and the other one would be great at something at the end of the spectrum. So you get a comprehensive feedback on where you're heading or how do you close your gap.
And with this, one last question to you, Christy. If
Sure.
those people here, they wanted to get to know you more or connect with you, where do you want them to? How can they do so?
Yes, I think the best place to connect with me is on LinkedIn. I do write on a weekly basis to share best practices in careers development. So that's the great place to find out more about my work and to get connected.
Yeah. And to end this, I would really encourage you to, if you think what Christy has shared now is interesting, go and read her book, because there is much more interesting thing in there. Even the first few pages, I felt interested as well. So do check it out. And one thing to recap what Christy have shared is really like the blueprint about step by step. How can you also think about the proper way to learn, to not just learn, but the effective way of learning, come up with a clarity of your goal. And then eventually, I think the moral of the story is everything will come into pieces together, like the how part, where you bump into helpful angels, your coaches, your mentor along the way, and be daring about asking questions, asking help, because people are there waiting for us to ask them so that they can help you. This is one. And in lastly, do some internal reflection and ongoing the cycle of your goal and learning and upskilling yourself.
Great.
Right.
I do have one question for you and the team. Right? Well, what is the one word that you got out of this sharing session? I'd love to know that.
That's good. And just put in the chat one word.
Yes, one word that you got out of the session or one phrase. That'd be awesome.
Lying say clarity.
Clarity. Excellent.
GK say wonderful.
Wonderful.
Chai-Fen action. Habit one remain important. Habit one is to remain important. Resilience.
Resilience.
motivating,
Excellent.
informative, inspiring, inspiring times 2, S curve, inspiring times 3. Okay, dream big and continue to walk towards it. The S curve, go fast if you do it alone, and go far if you do it together.
Wow, excellent. I'm so glad you those were the takeaway, the key highlight. That's exactly what I want to share with you, and I'm glad those are the reflection and the takeaway. So with that, I
Two
I
more
wish
come
you
in
would.
are dare to
Sure.
change and thoughtful.
Excellent. So with that, I wish you well. Be the action dreamer. Go after your dreams. Okay?
Thank you, Christy,
Stay in
for doing this
touch.
to us. And let's give
you.
a virtual clap to Christy as well.
This is all the time that we have. If you like video like this, do check it out. Ken Leong's video on how can you unlock your success. He shared about great tips, how can you apply some great question into your life, and also think about how can you unlock success and be 100% sure about it. I will see you again on the next month. Happy reading like usual and enjoy your learning process. Bye bye.